Okay, testing all systems. Let me know, Josephine, if you hear and see me. Give a little shout out. That's my wife, Josephine, my stage manager and general all-purpose guide through life. Are you getting the signal, honey? Oh. I assume you're not getting any sound or something? Okay. Oh, okay. There you go. She hears me. She's got it. Welcome to the second edition of Radio Free Bert. I did this last Sunday, and people seem to really like this format a great deal, and I hope I have some folks drop in and enjoy it. I'll be playing music for an hour or more. It's going to be a mixture of live and pre-recorded music. I've decided that the thing I want to do is present all the nicest recordings of songs that I've written over the years, and I'll mix that in with apparently the sound of my landlord scraping furniture across the ceiling upstairs, which we've gotten so used to. And in any event, this is Brooklyn, New York, Gravesend, Brooklyn to be precise, and it's been a beautiful day here in Gravesend. And if you're dropping in and you have access to chat here at YouTube, please say hello and announce who you are, because I love to know who I'm playing my music for. And I'm going to start with a recorded cut, and then I'm going to do a live tune, and we'll just go from there. I'll talk a little bit about the history of these songs between the songs, and welcome to Radio Free Bert.
After all this time, do I have to tell you I'm not guilty of the crimes that you accuse me of? What do I have to do to win back your love? If I had to do it all again, would I even be just one whit wiser? Oh, probably not. You have to live with what you've got. My hands are empty now, and I'm really not too sure just how we'll ever make amends. Is this the way our story ends? Lovers once, now barely friends. If you ask me why, I guess I'd have to try some awkward alibi you'd disabuse me of. What do I have to do to win back your love? What do I have to do to win back your love? Why did I have to go and put myself above you, darling? What do I have to do to win back your love? Why did I have to go and put myself above you, darling? Oh.
And that was Win Back Your Love from my recently released album, Swimming in Falling Water. And as I promised, I'm going to be doing some live performances along with these pre-recorded cuts. So let me just swing the video up there. Oh, it's fancy stuff I've got going on here. Yeah, there's an earthquake. It's an earthquake. There you go. It's not really an earthquake. And give me a moment here. This next tune I'm going to do for you is an early tune of mine, or medium early. I wrote it in the 70s when I started playing with the Central Park Sheiks. We were the Eastern Kings of Western Swing. And name of the tune is Shipwrecked Man, and it can be found at YouTube. You can just look up the Central Park Sheiks. The entire Honeysuckle Rose album is available at that place and that time. And this is the first time I ever tried to write this kind of song, because the Sheiks were that kind of band. I'm a shipwrecked man in a sea of trouble, watching the rain make crazy puzzles on the window pane. In a sea of rain, how do you stay dry? When I'm down, I go put on a record, even if I've heard that song too many times before. I play it one time more, still makes me cry. She's gone, she left no number to call. She's gone, and lately I ain't seen her at all again. And all I do is watch the rain. She's gone, she left no number to call. She's gone, and lately I ain't seen her at all again. And all I do is watch the rain. Oh, if I were a bird, I'd fly above this rain cloud. Where the sun is shining, I'd be flying high. At least I'd try. Oh, if I were a bird, but I ain't. If you ain't heard, I'm just a shipwrecked man in a sea of trouble, watching the rain make crazy puzzles on the window pane. In a sea of rain, how do you stay dry? The Shipwrecked Man in the Sea of Trouble, a song by Bert Lee. That's me, and this is Radio Free Bert. It's not really radio, but it is free, and it is definitely Bert, and I welcome you to my show. I don't know how many people I have listening right now. It seems I have several there, so I'm happy to welcome you. I'll be mixing in some live tunes like that one with the rest of this show, but the show is predominantly me playing cuts of songs that I've written over the years that are excellent cuts. Tracks from albums. And that said, I'm going to move right along now. Drop the mic down for the benefit of you hearing me. If you're here and you have access to chat, please say hello. I love to see who I'm playing for. It makes me happy to play for any and all of my friends, and hopefully some new ears will fall into the situation. Okay, that Shipwrecked Man was one of the first songs I wrote when I was with the Sheiks. This next tune is a tune I wrote as the Sheiks were dissolving. That's what happens to bands. There's that earthquake again. And bands fall apart. It's inevitable. And I want to just say that playing with the Sheiks was one of the greatest privileges of my adult life. How funny it is. Okay, there we go. It could be better. I'll fix it up. This next tune was a tune that I wrote after I left the Sheiks. And I always felt sorry about that because the Sheiks would have done a bang-up job on it. And the tune itself it's the funny story about this tune, the long and the short of it, was I wrote it once, played it for an old friend of mine, Eric Franz, and he loved it. Then I got involved in something completely different, and the result of it was that I forgot that I'd written the tune. And about 10 years later, I saw Eric, and he said, "Hey, do you ever play that song that you wrote?" And he said, and he told me the thing, and I said, "Oh, I forgot that." So I found the notebook that had the song in it, and I rewrote the song, rewrote all the lyrics. Then I got involved in something else, and I forgot that I wrote it. And 3 or 4 years passed, and once again I went to Eric's house for a wee dram, and he said, "Bert, do you still do that song?" And so I had to go back and reconstruct it for the third time. Third time's a charm. So this is a new recording, also from Swimming in Falling Water, my most recent album available on Bandcamp. And the tune is called Amnesia. And information right there on the screen about the history of the song and what it's all about and how you can get your own copy of it. Amnesia. And here we go.
Time can go so slowly in a bar room late at night, where the people move like ghosts through the smoky candlelight. The band is playing something that's got distance, man, they're cool. In the shadows of the back room, some old boys are playing pool. This blue light music's got me sinking into deep amnesia. I get the funniest feeling, it must be deja vu. I'll tell you something, brother, just one time through will do. And it all comes back so clearly when I only stop to think. And on that note, I think I'll go and get myself another drink. This blue light music's got me sinking into deep amnesia. There's a joke I'd like to tell you, but they say my timing's off. And before I hit the punchline, I always take a drag and cough, and that's just another nasty habit that I really ought to break. Oh, but if I don't, you know that won't be my first mistake. The bartender calls me buddy, the waitress calls me hun. The only song I request all night's Mother Nature's Son. The band, they just can't swing to that, so they play some miles instead. And these crazy syncopations are all just fucking with my head. This blue light music's got me sinking into deep amnesia. Getting close to closing time, the bouncer starts to loom. The manager is turning out all the lights around the room. The chairs are on the table, the band is getting paid. I leave here trying to hang on to those memories they played. This blue light music's got me sinking into deep amnesia. This blue light music's got me sinking into deep amnesia.
There you go. That was Amnesia, sometimes called by my listeners Blue Light Amnesia, and a song originally recorded on an album called Sub Django, which was a very shortly lived experiment in home recording. I did not have the help of the wonderful Dan Simpson, who helped me engineer this last cut that you just heard. And these days he seems to be there whenever I'm doing some recording work, jumping in and offering his expertise as a master engineer, remixer, and mastering engineer. So I thank him for all the hard work he's done making that last album, Swimming in Falling Water, sound really good and clear and nice. The personnel on that was me, and me. I played the guitars, the keyboards, the bass, and the vocals. And that's my song, Amnesia. This next song was my very first attempt when I was moving away from the Sheiks to try something completely different than I had been doing previously. I didn't want to just try to write more swing songs because I wasn't in the Sheiks anymore. And at that time, there was a lot of interest in Middle Eastern music, and I found myself writing the following groove. This tune is called Rainbow Wine, and this was actually not this particular recording, but at the time that I wrote it, was my first attempt at home recording. This is still a home recording. It was done about 6 or 7 years ago, and I've got it sort of on the back burner to be remastered and made even better, but I think this is a pretty nice take on a Rainbow Wine.
You're a catfish watching me from the bottom of a pool. Half of me is a fisherman and the other half is a fool. When I feel you make your move, I'm just a little too late. You're just a flicker in the ripples now, and you stole my bait. I wasn't ready just then, I'll be ready this time. Ready to taste your rainbow wine. Sometimes you drift off and you don't know you're asleep. You see some shiny treasures there that you'd really like to keep. You're only dreaming and you can't possess that prize. Those diamonds only fade away when you open up your eyes. I wasn't ready just then, I'll be ready this time. Ready to taste your rainbow wine. You keep on haunting me, I wanna make you mine. I need you wanting me. Ready to taste your rainbow wine. I get so impatient, it all just takes so long. Every trick I tried on you just turned out all wrong. Now I feel feel so awkward like the shy boy at the dance. And you turn around and smile at me, and there's my chance. I wasn't ready just then. I'll be ready this time. Ready to taste your rainbow wine.
And that was a Rainbow Wine. And I'm your host, Bert Lee, and I'm going to play some more songs for you right now. This is an experimental thing, and changing my camera angle seems to be critical to getting it to work right. So I'll be fiddling with things just to make them come out right. So please excuse a little bit of fiddling I do. And please excuse that noise upstairs. That's the landlord being obnoxious and scraping furniture across the floor. That's what he does. That's what we pay him for. It's nice. Okay, so Rainbow Wine. I was written in 1979, and as I say, it was the first time I'd ever tried to do any home recording. I bought myself one of those little Tascam cassette recording machines, and I wrote a bunch of songs that year because I had that machine. Whenever you get new toys, you write new songs. This next song comes from an album that I recorded in Key West back in 1991. Engineered at that time by Dan Simpson, and this is my first experience of working with him. And the album was called Living in the Stream, and this particular cut, which I'm about to play for you, is the culmination of the story. It's sort of a rock opera, I suppose you'd say it was. It's the story of a loss of habitat, an environmental rock opera, if you will. And this is the last song of the cycle. It's called Journey Home, and once again, engineered by Dan Simpson at Private Ear Studios in Key West. And here it comes. Journey Home, the story of a manatee named Hugh.
There's nothing you can buy, and there's nothing you can own, and all your prized possessions are just something you've been loaned. And the things you'd give the world to know are just the things you've always known. What you thought were precious gems were only ordinary stones. And if I could buy your freedom, friend, or if I could find my own, but the road goes on forever when you're on your journey home. There's music in the silence, and the light that flows from stones, and the crust of bread to satisfy the hunger in your bones. And the rain will cool your fever when you wander on the sands, and Mother Night will rock you in the cradle of her hand. And if I could make your freedom, friend, or if I could find my own, the road goes on forever when you're on your journey home.
The Long Journey Home from Living in the Stream, recorded in 1991 in Key West, Florida. The entire set of songs that's from Living in the Stream, I think will be re-released sometime this year, also on Bandcamp, where I always release my albums. And I'll probably, in this year, though I really don't care much for Spotify and its practices as a business, I understand I have to kind of be everywhere for anyone to ever notice me, so I'm going to probably put a lot of this stuff on Spotify. Got one more recorded song for you, and then I'm going to do a live cut for you, and then we'll get back to some more of these. I hope you find them interesting recordings. This is Radio Free Bert. You can always support me. Down there is all the information you need for that. I'll provide some more information a little bit later about how you can support me, and I do appreciate it. We musicians are looking for places to play, and we don't often get live performance situations right now because we're still in the kind of in-between zone of COVID being a solved problem or not. So I had to cancel 3 arena gigs that I had where I was going to play for 60,000 people. It was just too dangerous, and I didn't want my fans to be, you know, exposed in that fashion. I'm very thoughtful in that fashion. So the 2 or 3 fans that are here, I welcome you. If you have a chance and you can get access to the chat, just say hello. I'd love to know who I'm playing for, and perhaps you're just ghost listeners. I don't know. I'm sure you're nice people because you're here listening to my music, and I thank you for doing that. I also thank my wife, who's in the other room there, lurking as my stage manager and production assistant. She's Josie to my Bert as Evie is to Stephen Colbert, is how I would have to put that. Though she's far lovelier, I would have to say. This next tune is also from my recently released album, available at Bandcamp. I'm really proud of this tune. And when we were done with it, Dan Simpson and I had a long conversation via email, and he told me that, oh my goodness, after we were finished with that cut, I was really chuffed. And I'm afraid I'm taking things out of order here. This is not that. This is something else. I'll get to that in just a moment. This particular cut is a tune I wrote once again in Dan's studio back in 1992. And it stood for a long time. It was on an album called The Big Wide, which I released in 1989. I liked it, but I always felt there was something that I could do to fix it up. So about 4 years ago, I re-recorded it at home with some fancy gear that I just purchased. And I guess it was an inspired day that I did it on because it came out sounding, I think, pretty damn good. And this is my re-recording of Right By You. Let me make sure I have the correct. No, I don't. I do not have the right number there. Correct number. Right By You. And I do hope you enjoy this cut.
I didn't look before I left. Now there is no ground to catch me. I hope that you're no heartbreaker. I wanna do right by you. From where I stand, you look so fine. You give me every sign to please you. I won't be no love faker. I wanna do right by you. I wanna do right by you. I wanna try to be the light that guides you through. I wanna do right Every day and night, I'll be right by you. If you're afraid, I understand. An honest heart is hard to come by. I won't be no word breaker. I wanna do right by you. I wanna do right by you. I wanna try to be the light that guides you through. I wanna do right by you. Every day and night, I'm alright. I wanna do right by you. I wanna try to be the light that guides you through. I wanna do right by you. Every day and night, I'll be right by you.
Right by You, 1992 composition, re-recorded rather, in 2014. I hope you enjoyed that. This next cut is once again another cut from my recently recorded album, engineered and mastered by Dan Simpson, who's now located not in Key West anymore, but rather up in the lovely mountain retreat they has up in Asheville, North Carolina. Dan's a monster engineer and can make my little home recorded stems sound really good. This is a tune that I wrote about 20 years ago, and never had a good recording of it, and actually I hadn't even finished it until about a year ago, because sometimes that's the way songs are. You have them, but they're not really finished. So I finished it about a year ago, and then I undertook recording it on Swimming in Falling Water, which is available at Bandcamp, and this particular tune is called Soon Your Tears Be Over. And here it comes at you right now.
In this world of trouble, child, everyone has grown up wild, and sometimes I think there's nothing that can save us. We turned our backs on one another, turned away from earth, our mother, and squandered all the riches that she gave us. In every town and village, deep into the night, in their beds the restless sleepers turning. Down along the waterways and on the city walls, the nightmen work to keep the watchfires burning. Little darling, don't you have no fear, don't you worry now, 'cause I'll be here, sure as the white dove that spreads her wings to rise to the light that the morning brings, as sure as the changing of the moon, darling, soon. Soon your tears be over, darling, soon. Soon your tears be over. In these days of hate and war, it's hard to know just who you are, or if there's something greater you belong to? Is there someone who will take your hand, try to help you to understand, or only someone you can sing your broken song to? Sailors on the ocean praying for the sight of land, how they look out to find the lighthouse angels sweeping. Babies in the cradle on the wings of lullaby. Sweet sister, hold her safely in your keeping. Little darling, don't you have no fear. Don't you worry now, 'cause I'll be here. Sure as the white dove that spreads her wings to rise to the light that the morning brings. As sure as the changing of the moon, darling, soon. Soon your tears be over, darling, soon. Soon your tears be over, darling. Soon your tears be over, darling. Soon your tears be over, darling. Soon your tears be over, darling.
Soon your tears be over, darling, soon. His next tune was written right around the same time as that, and the album that it was released on initially was called the Big Wide Album, and then later on this song was recorded for another album which had similar songs on it called The Girl in the Golden Atom. Now I'll be playing The Girl in the Golden Atom in just a little bit. But this particular tune, I guess I was channeling John Lennon when I wrote this, because my intention in recording the album was to make an album, not that sounded like the Beatles, because for heaven's sakes I could not begin to do that, but where every song had its own unique characteristics, and it was different than the song before it and different than the song that followed it, and it wasn't the same old repetitive drivel that albums often devolve into. This particular song was written shortly after 9/11. And it's about, monsters and love. There you go. Monsters are all very scary. Monsters are easy to fake. When people are cruel to each other, it's really much harder to take. And the things we allow to control us should be subject to careful review. You've got monsters inside, monsters inside, monsters inside you. Children look up from the games you play to the life that they want you to live. They'll never explain all the rules to you or how much they expect you to give. And the things you will do just to get by may all come as a wonder to you. There's a stranger inside me, just like the stranger inside you. Don't be afraid, don't be surprised. See the stranger in your eyes. Don't you worry what to do. It's only life, it's only you. How many times did you wake up just to find you were still in the dream? And the moments of light, the feelings of love flow by like a silvery stream. And the person you find in the mirror should be someone you're happy to be. There's angels inside of you, angels inside of me. Don't be afraid, don't be surprised. See the angels in your eyes. Don't be frightened if you should fall. It's only love, and love is all. Don't be afraid, don't be surprised. See the angels in your eyes. Don't be frightened if you should fall. It's only love, and love is all. Monsters and Angels. That's the name of that song. My guitar will be back to entertain you for one more song a little bit later in the show. We'll go back to recorded music now. This is an experimental format, and I'd love to know, I do have some listeners lurking in the background who haven't announced who they are. If you do have access to the chat, feel free to say hello. Let me know how you are and how you feel about what's going on here. It's a little raw yet, but it's coming together. This is Radio Free Bert, and it's going to feature lots and lots of recordings of songs that I've written over the years. This next song I'm very, very proud of was written for an album called Girl in the Golden Atom. And it was based loosely on a science fiction novel, or rather, a science fiction short story written in 1933 by Ray Cummings. The story was called The Girl in the Golden Atom. The plot's very simple. A futuristic scientist gets a microscope so powerful that he can look down into an atom, see the little planets whirling around the little suns, down into the planet, and he sees a beautiful woman that he falls in love with. And even though he's just inches from her, in his world, they're doomed never to be able to be together. So it's a story of unrequited love. Cornball, yes, it is. That is truly cornball. But the story was always very well loved in the pulps and the trades, and it made the rounds as a classic science fiction story. So back around the turn of the century, I wrote this song, which is called The Girl in the Golden Atom, and it is based upon that very song. So here it is, The Girl in the Golden Atom.
tiny planet there. Underneath a golden sun, he sees a shining woman, and he knows he's not alone. The man on the silver planet loves the girl in the golden atom. The man on the silver planet loves the girl in the golden atom.
That was the Girl in the Golden Atom tune I wrote back around at the turn of the century. And that's a new recording of it, recorded, I believe, in about 2013. All the personnel is me. And I get better at home recording as the years go by. And you get better equipment, and people teach you little tricks, and you learn how to master, which is what I'm doing right now, learning the difficult path to how to master a cut and a series of cuts to make them all balance out nicely. My mentor in all of that is Mr. Dan Simpson. I mention his name over and over again because I'm so indebted to him for all the songs that he mastered for me on my recently released album, Swimming in Falling Water. This next is one such song. I wrote this song, I think it was like in about 2002, and I took a trip down to Key West, Florida, where I have friends, and I'd lived there for a while, and I was visiting, and ironically enough, there was a hurricane there that year, and I injured my leg, and I spent the entire hurricane lying in bed with torn ligaments in my knee, and so the howling winds didn't scare me, but the pain was pretty bad. Anyway, so I wrote this song because I'd lived in Key West for about 15 years of my life, and I always wanted to write a song that was what I thought the island was all about, not going down to Duval Street and getting drunk and waking up with a tattoo in a strange place, sleeping behind a dumpster with a fresh pina colada in your hand. No, that's not my vision of Key West. I realize a lot of people love that part of Key West, but what I loved about it was what you're about to hear in this particular song. And the song is called Sea Breeze, and here it comes.
The sun is going down and the tide is coming in, and the breeze that rises on the twilight feels so cool against my skin. Sea breeze, pretty clouds are drifting through the sky, lifted up and floating on the instant that I find you standing by my side. Won't you come with me? We're flying on a sea breeze. Seagulls hang suspended as they turn into the wind. Take my hand, my darling, let this moment never end. Sailboats race across the waves, leaving wakes of diamond lace. The day moon hides behind the blue sky to remind me of my lover's face. Sea breeze, pretty clouds are drifting through the sky. They are lifted up and floating on the instant that I find you standing by my side. Come with me, we're flying on a sea breeze. Seagulls hang suspended as they turn into the wind. Take my hand, my darling, let this moment never end. The sun is going down again. This time the tide is going out. And these turnings and returnings, they are what this life is all about. Sea breeze, pretty clouds are drifting through the sky, lifted up and floating on the instant that I find you standing by my side. Won't you come with me? We're flying on a sea breeze. Seagulls hang suspended as they turn into the wind. Take my hand, my darling, let this moment never end.
And that's Sea Breeze from my album Swimming in Falling Water. Once again, if you have access to chat and you're listening in, I know several of you are. Don't know if you have access to chat, but I know you're listening. I hope you're enjoying yourselves. This is my new format. I think next week will be much more in the way of live music. Right now, it's very sweaty, and it's very hard to play guitar with sweaty hands. So this works for me, and it gives me a chance to play for all of you some cuts that you may never have heard. I've recorded a lot of music in my life, a lot of original songs, and I do hope you're enjoying the things you're listening to right now. This particular next song was written about 10 years ago upon the return from Key West to New York to be with my wife. And I wrote this on the train coming north, so logically enough, the cut is called A Northbound Train. How relentlessly logical I am. And it can be found on my album, which is also at Bandcamp, that is called Salt for Silver. And that said, this is Northbound Train.
northbound train, leave the south behind. Rolling through the blue-gray dawn, and I feel the past unwind. Hills and valleys, streets and alleys, little towns all in a row. People I may never meet, places I may never go. Sometimes feel just like a gambler, watch my fortunes break. Or just like some weary rambler, wondering which fork to take. I've got my backpack and my guitar, pocket change to pay my way. Bought myself a one-way fare, I'm going home and there I'll stay. Living up to what I said I'd do. Girl, you know I'm coming home to you. Play some changes while I'm rolling, looking for the words to sing. And I'll take my rhythm from the train tracks, wonder what the muse will bring. Fellow travelers in this night car, asking me what songs I play, and they sometimes strike a harmony as we pass the rattling miles away. Living up to what I said I'd do. Oh girl, you know I'm coming home to you. Giving up the games I tried to play, coming home to you, and there I'll stay. Riding on a northbound train, leave the south behind. Rolling through the blue-gray dawn, and I feel the past unwind.
Northbound Train from my album Salt for Silver. I've got one more recorded cut to play for you, then I'm going to do a couple of live numbers just to get out of here. And thanks for hanging out with me for the last hour. It's been my pleasure to play for you. I hope you've been enjoying yourself. I hope you enjoy my music. And when you have a chance, visit my Bandcamp site and take a listen to the songs you can download. Be sure to like and subscribe to my YouTube page here, because that helps me in so many ways. And likewise, follow me at Bandcamp, and they'll tell you when I put out new songs and new albums, and that should be fairly regularly in the next 5 or 6 months, I suspect. This is the last recorded cut I'm playing for you right now. This particular cut is from Swimming in Falling Water, once again engineered by Dan Simpson, and I hope you enjoy Swimming in Falling Water's most psychedelic cut. Where is it? Come on. There we go. I wrote this song about 6 years ago, and I didn't finish it because I didn't know what it was about. It took COVID to tell me what this song was really all about. So I guess I have to thank the little bugger, because COVID taught me what this is all about. It's about your life changing. And so here we go.
The days and weeks go slipping by. All the things we put off pile up. All the things we choose to do some other day, they can wait for Thursday. I had some chores to run today, household shopping, bills to pay, do the dishes, clear the shelves. Misery best kept to ourselves on Thursday. Buy some toothpaste, soap and bread, all the ordinary life we've led. Make a list and get it done before it slips away, my son, it's Thursday. And the clouds, they opened over me, and the crowd, it parted like the sea, sent me down an unfamiliar path. Seeing you, I simply had to laugh. Never thought I would find my way. Never thought I would find my way. Never thought I would find my way on Thursday. There's too much to hold inside, all the thoughts we keep in build-up, secrets that we choose to face some other time. They come to mind on Thursday. I had some calls to make today, obligations, prayers to pray, clear the record, make amends, try to make it all make sense on Thursday. Expectations, hope and dread, where the worries in our hearts have led. Take a risk and change your ways before your chances slip away. It's Thursday. Then the clouds, they opened over me, and the crowd, it parted like the sea, sent me down an unfamiliar path. Seeing you, I simply had to laugh. Never thought I would find my way. Never thought I would find my way. Never thought I would find my way on Thursday. Oh, it's Thursday. Na 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 na. 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 Oh, it's Thursday.
There you go. Nothing ever happens on a Thursday. Hope you enjoyed that. I got just exactly 2 more songs and a last screen with some information on it to show you. This is Radio Free Bert. I am Bert Lee. I am the guy that wrote all of the songs you heard tonight. There are no covers here. Help me monetize this site in the future by being sure to like and subscribe if this is your first time here. I want to thank all the people who over the last year have done exactly that and the generosity that they've shown me as they see me stumbling and poking around and trying to improve the situation. The reason that this show has perhaps been just a little bit flaky around the edges is that there's all new equipment around me now, because about a week and a half ago my computer system completely died, so I'm dealing with completely new gear. But that seems to work very, very well, and I'm happy. Sometimes bad things lead to good results. So here's 2 more songs for you. Both of these songs can be found on my album, Assault for Silver. My grandpa was a grifter, a gambler and a heel. He snuck around from town to town and he dealt a dirty deal. He went out in the wild world to steal what he could steal. You know he stole a fortune, but the money wasn't real. No, the money wasn't real. Funny how it is, you know now the money wasn't real. He set out as a bandit, he came back empty-handed. He should have been a rich man, but the money wasn't real. The Pharaoh was a miser, his story has been told. He had 10,000 workers build a pyramid to hold all his statues and his trappings and his caskets and his gold. He wanted to have everything, but all he got was old, 'cause none of it was real. Funny how it is, you know now, none of it was real. His monument so grand just got covered up by sand. Now he's just another mummy, man, 'cause none of it was real. A poor man buys a loaf of bread, he shares it and it's gone. A rich man wrecks his portion, yet his wealth keeps rolling on. And the good things that you've said and done are nothing you can pawn. When you're in the underclass, you're always overdrawn, 'cause the money isn't real. Funny how it is, you know now the money isn't real. You can follow all the rules made by idiots for fools, and you think you'll get your just reward, but you won't. You won't pick up a penny, but you might spare a dime. A dollar buys a pretty meager way to waste your time. See, don't get your groceries, and $1,000 might buy a thrill. You might rake in a shitload and still not get your fill. I live in America, a country built on greed, and I suppose that's not a bad thing if you just take what you need. But it seems everyone's afflicted by a hunger to exceed. Why should one man have 1,000,000 when there's 1,000,000 mouths to feed? 'Cause the money isn't real. Funny how it is, you know now the money isn't real. You can burn it, you can earn it, but in the end you'll learn that it all amounts to nothing. Now I bought me some insurance in case I pass away. I've heard that that could happen, and who am I to say? I might live forever and they'd never have to pay. Shit, who would be the loser then if it all turned out that way? 'Cause the money isn't real. Funny how it is, you know now the money isn't real. You can spend it, you can lend it, but you'll find that in the end it's all amounts to nothing. Yes, it's funny how it all amounts to nothing. So funny how it all amounts to nothing, 'cause the money isn't. A plastic bag blows down the street, gets tangled in a tree. Chances are another breeze will come to break it free and blow it down the alley through the back lots to the beach, where a child may try to catch it, but it sails right past her reach. It floats out on the ocean and it settles on the tide, and a passing whale may swallow it, and it gets lodged inside. Run, Jenny, run, come look what's washed up on the sands. Come and see the gentle giant that's been slain by unknown hands. It's not your fault, and it's not mine. It didn't happen by design. It makes us sad, it makes no sense. It's only unintended consequence. An old man has a cardboard shack in a weed-choked vacant lot. He's long since quit regretting all the things he hasn't got. He seeks no help from strangers and he lives as best he can. People say he's homeless, but I say he's just a man. He comes down to my street and lays a blanket on the ground, and he makes a meager livelihood from things that he has found. He might accept a quarter, he'll settle for a dime, till the police come and stop him, 'cause they say that that's a crime. It's not your fault, and it's not mine. It didn't happen by design. It makes us sad, it makes no sense. It's only unintended consequence. Now the hills have caught on fire since the summer brought us drought. The rangers fight it day and night, but they can't put it out. The people here are used to it, it happens every year. When a thing becomes familiar, we lose all sense of fear. The weather lady tells us that there's not much chance for rain. The scientists predicted this and the Christians all are praying. But as for me, I'll find a quiet hill to watch it from, practice my acceptance of the things that surely come. It's not my fault and it's not yours. Sometimes it's parched, sometimes it pours. There's no blame here to dispense, only unintended consequence. Not their fault and it's not ours, so we shift the blame to higher powers. Let's just say it was a long chain of events that led to unintended consequence. Unintended Consequences from my album called Salt for Silver. Thank you very much for hanging with me and listening to my music. I'll be leaving you with a goodbye screen with an instrumental piece on it called Me and My iPod, which is some of the electronic music I enjoy making when I'm between songs. And on it we'll give you more information about the various things that you can do to support me as an artist, and might give you an idea as to how to support other people as artists. And that's important. You know, there's not a lot of opportunities right now for most of us until this, people start all wearing their masks and we all feel confident and the places really do open up and it's not just limited seating and fear of whatever, tired of fear of whatever. That's it. Something fell on the floor, but I don't know what it was. Do you, Mr. Jones? So here you go. This is me and my iPod. I bid you all a fondue. Love you all for listening. Thank you so very much. And it's Bert Lee checking out of Radio Free Bert.
Thank